And we're back for our daily college basketball best bets here on Saturday, January 24th. Yesterday, not a great day, 2-3. We've been hovering at that for quite a bit, 2-3, 3-2. Yesterday was what it was. I mean, Mercyhurst kicks off the day with a big come from behind victory over in New Haven, Connecticut. Kennesaw State blows a 10-point lead, and they allow low-scoring La Tech to score 80 points. Kennesaw's leading scorer scores 1 point in the entire game. I want that team investigated. And I'm not just saying that because I'm not just pulling that out of my ass. That's a team that has been investigated and has had their star player pulled and suspended for gambling and point shaving. So just want to put that out there. Buffalo loses at home to UMass. Freetag actually plays. Shocking. He scores 18. Sabal scores 20 plus, and the team still loses. Buffalo was down 20 plus points at one point in time. They come back, take an 8-point lead with 5 minutes to go, and they find a way to choke because their best shooter in Sabal missed 2 free throws. His 92% free throw shooter missed 2 free throws with a minute to go. His team ended up losing to UMass on their own home court. Can we investigate them too? I'm not as serious in the Buffalo investigation as I am on Kennesaw, but I mean, how the hell do they find themselves down by 20 to start the game? They came back just to blow it again. Unbelievable stuff. Middle Tennessee, I'll take my L. That sucked. Colorado State wins most of that game against Utah State, almost blows it at the end. We don't care. They cover 4.5. It is what it is. So 2-3 yesterday, looking for better value, better success today, I shall say. And folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily college basketball best bets here on the channel. Later today, we're going to have our NBA best bets, so go make sure to check that out in just a couple hours here on the channel as well. Yesterday, we posted our best bets for the AFC and NFC championship game. Obviously, Broncos versus Patriots, Rams versus Seahawks. Predictions and best bets are already posted on the channel and on Greedo Plays MMA. Our UFC 324 predictions and best bets, 2 separate videos over on Greedo Plays MMA. Tonight is the first ever UFC card on Paramount Plus. You're not going to want to miss our predictions, linked in the description down below. Okay, on to the first hour of our 5 best bets today for college basketball. We're going to get things going a little bit later today. I know, again, there are games at 8 o'clock, and, Mercer Moneyline was speaking to me early in the day, but I decided I don't want any of it. I considered taking some big-time matchups today. I did look at Houston versus Tech. Not going to lie, Texas Tech Moneyline was calling my name too, but this was calling my name more. George Mason Moneyline at Rhode Island. Okay, if you don't like minus 140, take -2. I think I'm not going to worry about the 2 points, so I'm going to go minus 140 because George Mason did just come off a very competitive victory at home against George Washington, against the Revolutionaries. So I'm going to go George Mason straight money line at minus 140. If you want the 2 points, take it. The best bet is money line for George Mason to kick off the day. Absolutely love the spot here for this team. The Patriots, undefeated so far in the A-10, 6-0, going on the road to Kingston, Rhode Island to take on the Rhode Island Rams, a team who at one point in time was phenomenal at home and a very tough team to go on the road and beat. They are no longer like that. Rhode Island's still a good team, don't get me wrong, but not a great team, and a team that hasn't dominated at home this year, something that we've been used to URI doing. It has not been the case this season. Multiple teams have been able to go to URI this season and beat the Rams. It started with McNeese, and I get it. Good team, but McNeese went out there, beat them by 2 points over at URI. Loyola Chicago. Yes, lowly Loyola Chicago, who lost to Chicago State at one point in the season, went into Kingston and beat Rhode Island as well. LaSalle, who I know, again, just had a very hot start and good game against Dayton the other day. LaSalle goes into URI and beats the Rams as well. VCU in URI's last game goes to URI and obviously gets the victory over Rhode Island. Teams have been able to walk into Kingston and win. Why wouldn't George Mason be able to do the same exact thing? Again, guys, LaSalle, 7-13 team. Yes, they just beat Dayton. They started off hot as hell in the Dayton game. They fell off as the game went on, but the Explorers found a way to win. That's not a great team, though, that went to URI and won. Loyola Chicago's got 1 victory so far in the A-10. It is URI at Kingston. Come on now. Why wouldn't the best team in the conference be able to win this game either? It does feel like a trap. I will say it does feel like a trap. But this is more so, in my opinion, a Portland State versus Eastern Washington. I know that's a crazy comp, but it's a game that we had just a couple days ago. We had the best team currently in the Big Sky in Portland State go on the road and take on EWU. EWU, a team who earlier in the year had beaten the Montana Grizzlies at home. And sure, right, Portland State had their troubles on the road over in Eastern Washington, but they still found a way to get the victory and close the game out and win by, 2 points, by 1 score. George Mason, it might be a competitive game at URI. I don't think they're going to lose. George Mason, 18-1 in the season, 6-0 so far in the A10 conference. St. Louis as well is undefeated in the conference as they won yesterday on the road as well to remain undefeated in the A10, going on the road and dominating St. Bonaventure. Obviously, the Billikens are ranked currently at 24th in the country, 1 spot ahead of, obviously, the Max Miami of Ohio. But you've got 2 undefeated A10 teams leading the charge right now, with St. Louis at 7-0, George Mason at 6-0, and the Patriots have lost 1 game all year long, and it was on the road at Virginia Tech by 11 points. Other than that, George Mason has been perfect this season. They already own a victory over URI, a lower scoring game, but George Mason wins it at home in North Virginia, winning by 11, 61-50, of course, in Fairfax. I like the Patriots quite a bit, man. This is a team that is still without their best player, at least preseason. It was looking like going to be their best player. They have been able to make up with it. Obviously, Braden O'Connor being that player who was a preseason, he played the first game of the year, got injured in the first game against Wofford. Regardless, Braden O'Connor was a preseason all-conference player, gets injured in the first game of the year. There is discussion, and I think they are going to get O'Connor back probably in about a month and a half, probably as they're loading into the A10 tournament. But anyways, they found ways to win without their best player in Braden O'Connor. Corey Mincy's been phenomenal. Riley Allen's patched down low. Jahari Long, Fat Hill. There are players on George Mason who have contributed throughout the season. And again, Corey Mincy has done a lot of that heavy lifting for the Patriots this season, averaging 16.5 points. Hasn't had any monster games as of late, but is a reliable scoring hand in his first season over with the Patriots, obviously since transferring over from the Presbyterian Blue Hose. I just like a lot what George Mason does. They play solid enough defense. They did let the Colonials back into the game. Sorry, the Revolutionaries, my goodness, the other day get back into the game against them at home, again, that George Mason game, but the Patriots found a way to close that game out. They hit clutch free throws, they hit big shots when it absolutely mattered, and all that matters really is that they are 6-0 in the conference. They've been able to go on the road so far and win at LaSalle, at Fordham, at Loyola Chicago. They've been tested on the road, maybe not against the best teams, but they've been able to at least take care of business. URI is not some dominant team. I know, again, Fordham, Loyola Chicago, and LaSalle are 3 of the lower teams in the conference, but if you want to play that math, well, hey, LaSalle does own a victory this year, obviously, over the Rams. Now, URI has been very disappointing, let's say. They've been very disappointing. It's a team that came into conference play 9-4, had losses to McNeese, Providence, Townsend, and Tulsa. Not horrible L's, but again, we already spelled out their struggles so far in the A10, losing that game to Loyola Chicago, losing to LaSalle at home, losing to VCU. Again, VCU's not a bad loss, but really, again, losing to LaSalle at home and losing to Loyola Chicago at home is disappointing. And it's a team that has just struggled to score all season long, especially in the game that they've already played this year against the conference-leading Patriots. Hinton does most of their scoring. He's averaging 14 points per game alongside Tyler Cochran, who's averaging 12. Hinton averaging 14 points per game, but only 5 points in the VCU game and 6 points in their last game, which was a victory on the road in Richmond against, obviously, the Spiders. And there's Tyler Cochran, who's averaging 12 points per game, probably butchering his name, but just dropped 18 in the game against Richmond. Very experienced college basketball player. This is his, I believe, 6th year of eligibility. It is. 2 years at Northern Illinois, 1 year at Ball State, 2 years at Toledo, now found his way over to the A10 after 5 consecutive seasons in the MAC. Oh my goodness. I'm going to go with George Mason, though. I mean, again, this is the hot team. They play solid enough defense. I think they do translate to the road. URI, it's not like there's some dominant shooting team at home this season. They have not been that at all. George Mason should carry out their success that they've had so far this year in Fairfax and just, again, on the road in general, and so far in A10 play. 6-0 in the conference for a reason, taking on a 2-4 team. There is a reason as well the Patriots are such big favorites on the road. I'm going to go George Mason. I think it's a pretty easy spot here. I know, again, -140 may not be the best spot. It's not the most intriguing odds. If you want -2, take it. I personally, though, I'm going George Mason money line to kick off the day in Kingston against the URI Rams. On to our second best bet of the video, we move to some MACtion. Hopefully we don't see any, tricky business in this one, as we've got the Bowling Green Falcons going on the road, obviously interstate matchup like almost every MAC game is, because half the conference plays in Ohio. But anyways, Bowling Green going on the road to take on the Toledo Rockets. Give me Toledo at home. Roster construction matters. Lineups matter. Who is the better team? Toledo. Okay? It feels like a daily occurrence where we talk about MACtion and MAC basketball. And, I'm going to give a lot of credit to Miami of Ohio for making me so invested this season in the MAC. Don't get me wrong. Last year, we loved watching Akron, Kent State, and Toledo. Those are the teams that I really liked watching last year in the MAC. But this year, man, I can't stop watching this conference. I mean, this is one of my conferences of choice right now. It's no secret. Again, the mid-majors I watch all the time. Big West, West Coast Conference. Love watching the Mountain West as well. But man, the MAC right up there now. MACtion is phenomenal. And I know yesterday we were on the wrong side of one because Buffalo decided to not hit a big-time shot. By the way, what the hell was that last possession from Daniel Freitag? Why are we taking a fading shot from the top of the key to try to win the basketball game? Drive. What are we doing? Daniel Freitag, by the way, whenever he actually tried to drive to the basket, he was scoring. But then we we fade a mid-range shot, a deep mid-range shot to try to take the lead in a one-point game as time's expiring. Yeah, that makes sense. Anyways, Bowling Green versus Toledo over in Toledo, Ohio. The Rockets are coming off back-to-back L's. It is a buy low spot. It's a really good buy low spot in my opinion. I know last time we saw Toledo at home, at least in one of the videos, we had them against Miami. So we had Miami of Ohio going to Toledo and winning, and obviously that went Miami of Ohio's way. The Redhawks have been phenomenal for us this season. They will continue to be phenomenal for us all year long. Toledo has lost 3 of 4, but again, it's important to look who and where they lost. Okay, at home against Miami of Ohio, don't care. Ohio win at home, that's big time, okay? Ohio, I would put on that same tier as kind of a Toledo. I expect better results out of the Rockets compared to the Bobcats, but still, I mean, somewhat on the same level. Toledo beats Ohio 101-85. Again, scoring is, you can get huge scoring nights at times out of the Rockets. Last 2 games, 2 road games, 2 L's. But again, who are they? Kent State on the road by 3 points, and I guess they're continuing to shock me this season. By hook or by crook, UMass beats Toledo. And again, UMass's last 2 games, so suspicious, man. I'm not going to go at the officiating in the last game between UMass and Buffalo. I'm just going to go at Buffalo for seemingly throwing that game at times. By the way, guys, Buffalo's 2 centers, McCormick, I believe his name is, and I forget the other center's name, I'll be honest with you. 2 of the worst centers I've ever watched play the game of basketball. Holy crap. They don't rebound. They do nothing offensively. They don't know how to dribble a basketball. Oh my goodness. Buffalo, yes, is banned, by the way. Buffalo and Kennesaw are officially banned for the rest of the season. Okay. Again, Kennesaw was looking great in the first half. They were shooting the lights out the ball, and then they go 8 whole minutes without a single field goal? Are we dead ass? Yeah. Yeah, thanks, guys. That's nice. That's why you're being investigated by the FBI right now. It's awesome. Toledo versus Bowling Green, though. Again, I like Toledo quite a bit. Look at the UMass game. Again, by hook or by crook. Officiating in that game, horrible. And I'm telling you, I don't always have an excuse for every game that we lose. But some of these recently, oh my goodness. Toledo, UMass, atrocious refereeing. I will bring up this example. Toledo was down by 1, had an and 1 to potentially go up 2 with like 3 minutes to go. They go to commercial break, and all of a sudden we come out of commercial, and oh yeah, no, we've taken that off the board, and we just called now a foul the other way, and UMass is shooting free throws, and now they're going to go up 3, and they get the possession, so now they go up 5. I mean, it was some really weird stuff. Some tricky-dicky shenanigans went on in that Toledo-UMass game. It was absurd. But again, regardless of how the games went, Toledo loses by 3 points at Kent, 2 points at UMass. They return home to take on Bowling Green. I think Toledo's the better team. Bowling Green, again, they're coming off back-to-back wins. Who do they beat? EMU at home by 6 points? You go to Kalamazoo and beat Western Michigan. I'm not moved. I'm not moved from a WMU win. Come on now. Bowling Green, when they play good teams, they lose. Miami of Ohio, loss. Kent State, loss. Akron, loss. Sure, you can say Toledo hasn't broken through and beaten an elite team either. That's fair, okay. Who's got the better team? Toledo. Where's this game at? Toledo. Who's got the best player on the court? I'm taking Sonny Wilson over Javonte Campbell. You might take Javonte Campbell over Sonny Wilson. I think Sonny Wilson's going to be the best player on the court. So, again, take your pick there. Who's got the better supporting cast? Toledo. Okay, that I can say. Leroy Blyden, Sean Craig, those guys are a better supporting cast for their star in Sonny Wilson compared to what Bowling Green has to back up Javonte Campbell and a Mayar Wool or a Sam Towns. Again, it should be a high-scoring game. But games in Toledo, better rosters Toledo, the best players on Toledo, better supporting cast Toledo. Why wouldn't they win this game? Why? Because Bowling Green has a better net ranking than them? I don't care. Bowling Green beat K-State on the road this year by 16 points. Well, we're about to talk about that in a couple minutes, about how it's not that hard to go to K-State and win this season. You already saw in the thumbnail. You know what big game we have today. I don't care. I really think Toledo is going to get out in a hurry in this game. I'm not concerned about their losing ways, guys. They've lost 3 of 4. Look who they lost to, and look where they lost. I don't. That doesn't matter to me. Sonny Wilson hasn't been great in their last 2 games, at least not the dominance we've expected out of him. Sonny Wilson only with 15 points against Kent State and 16 points against Massachusetts. Again, it's been a lot of Leroy Blyden recently for scoring for the Rockets. True freshman, how about 24 points against Ohio, 19 points against Kent State, 22 points against UMass, again averaging 16 points per night. Again, we mentioned him briefly earlier. Javonte Campbell does a lot for Bowling Green, averaging 18 points per game. Just put up 20 in the Western Michigan game on the road. I did have a game this season where he's dropped 47 against UMass, 47 points in 45 minutes in overtime. Again, Campbell, one of those players who just doesn't come off the court. You see that quite a bit out of star and elite players in the Mid-American Conference. I'm still going with the Rockets here. Again, everything I stated earlier about roster construction, the best players in the court, better supporting cast, everything really remains for me. I do believe Toledo is the better team, and I think they should be able to take this one at home, and I'm quite shocked they're dogs in this spot. So I'm going to go Toledo Rockets money line at home, -105 for Toledo to pick things, or to get things going at home. On to our third best bet of the video, same exact odds, same exact everything. Cal State Fullerton goes on the road to San Luis Obispo, California to take on the Cal Poly Mustangs. I will say this, guys. I promise you we're going to have more like Power 5 games later in the year. Okay, right now, to me, best value is still in the mid-majors. Okay, we will have a Power 5 game in just a few moments. Our next best bet will be, obviously, again, you saw in the thumbnail, but I don't know. I feel like the mid-major level is still the best place to go right now. Rather than, I don't know, let me take, I think Texas Tech Moneyline was calling my name this morning, but I decided, you know what, I like George Mason for the early spot instead. There are spots. I'll tell you this, I consider taking Cincinnati on the road at Arizona State. Just like, I'm okay. Miami-Syracuse should be a close game. I'm going to stay away, right? There's games, obviously there's big Power 5 games every day. Well, for the most part, some days there just aren't. But I don't know, again, trust me, tomorrow there's some Big Ten ball tomorrow I want to talk about. Anyways, we're looking at Cal Poly staying at home, playing in San Luis Obispo, taking on Cal State Fullerton. I believe the Mustangs should win, okay? I know it's a little difficult picking this team sometimes. There's a reason to this, okay? Trust me, there is. I know we picked against Fullerton the other day in Long Beach State. I permanently banned Long Beach State after that game. Disgusting performance. Okay, here's the thing. We've seen this game before this year, and we had Cal Poly on the road going to Fullerton, and they won the game outright 94-91. Now, that was an all-time performance. We saw it by Peter Bondel in that game. Bondel, again, I've talked about this performance quite a bit, but this was one of the most absurd performances I've seen in a while. Bondel played 30 minutes, scored 37 points, went 11 for 13 from the field, and went 9 for 10 from the three-point line for Poly on the road at Fullerton, and yet his team almost still choked the game. Now, they found a way to win, but yes, that was a lot. It was way too close for comfort in that game in Fullerton. And at the time, Fullerton was 3-6. They had lost. Obviously, that was the Big West opener for both teams. And I was thinking, okay, Fullerton's just not that great this year. Well, the Titans have bounced back, and I'll give them a lot of credit for that. This team has completely, they've, rejuvenated their season after losing that game to Cal Poly. They did lose at Hawaii, but everyone does that. Came back, beat Santa Barbara, lost to Irvine, but then beat UCSD, beat CSUN. But now this is the stretch I want to talk about. Last 3 games. Lose at Davis. I get it. UCSD just went to Davis and played a competitive game, but who won the game? UCSD. Then you go to the cesspool and lose to UCR. I don't like that. You're losing to that trash-ass school and trash-ass program? Yeah, I can't take it seriously. They did beat Long Beach State, but here's the thing. That game was in Fullerton, California. They're going to middle of nowhere, San Luis Obispo. Kind of middle of nowhere. It is. They're going to Cal Poly. I'm going to take the Mustangs here. I think the home spot for Cal Poly is going to be solid enough. I know Cal Poly hasn't shown up in their last 2 games. They got blown out against Hawaii at home, blown out at UCSB. Yeah, they're bound to bounce back eventually, and this is the spot. They're at home. Last time they played a mediocre-ish team at home, they beat UC Davis. They beat UC San Diego this year at home as well at Cal Poly. Played Idaho to a competitive game at Cal Poly. Played Montana State to a competitive game at Cal Poly. Unless Fullerton completely shows up and shoots the lights out of the basketball, I don't think they're going to win this game. Guys, Fullerton played a sloppy and a poor basketball game against the Beach the other day. There were 2 guys who showed up to score for Cal State Fullerton against Long Beach State. It was Joshua Ward, who's been the guy all year long for the Titans, averaging 14.5 in his first season playing Division I college basketball, and Jefferson De La Cruz Monegero. Monegaro was pretty good too, scored 16. He's been probably the most consistent scorer for the squad. Obviously, former Valparaiso player last season, started his collegiate career over in Kalamazoo for the Western Michigan Broncos. There's only two guys who showed up to score. Guys, there were points in that game where the Beach, and I'll say this now, the Beach starting off the second half, they went their first 4 minutes in the second half, 3 to 4 minutes in the second half, without even getting a shot off. They didn't even attempt a shot. They just kept turning the ball over and over and over and over again. They didn't score for the first 5 to 6 minutes in the half. And yet, Fullerton was only up by 10 points. Fullerton played a piss-poor basketball game, and they got away with it because LBSU sucked. As long as Pauley doesn't suck, which I understand is a difficult proposition for this team at times, but as long as they just don't straight up suck ass, I think Pauley should win this basketball game. The better scores, I'd argue, are actually on Pauley. Now, it kind of sounds crazy, but I really think so. And again, we know how good Musa is, right? Ahmad Musa, who dropped 27 in the first game against Fullerton, averages 21 points per game to the sophomore guard at Doha, Qatar. Him and Peter Bondel alone, though, I believe are better scorers than anything that come on the other side of the equation. By the way, Caden Ward, too, averages 15 points per game. Bondel averaging 14. Now, beyond those guys, obviously, Pauley doesn't have much scoring, and Cal Pauley's played the same as they have the last couple of seasons. Obviously, last year, if you remember that team, Pauley was electric, eliminated UCR from the Big West tournament, obviously with Owen Kuntz and Jared Hyder and Isaac Jesup and Bondel as well. They were an electric team last season because what did they do? They played 5 out the entire game. They played 5 out and everyone would keep shooting all game long. They kind of still do that if we're being honest. They just don't do it as well. But Musa does a lot of their scoring. Again, Bondel's a 40% three-point shooter. Caden Ward can score as well. If they just put pressure on Fullerton, they're going to win this game. They've already beat him once this season, and yes, they let Fullerton creep back into that game in that second half. Again, it was almost over. Bondel hit 9 three-pointers in the game, and yet Fullerton still had a chance at the very end to win it because of some missed free throws and some just untimely possessions by the Mustangs. But they're at home. I think this is a very winnable spot for this team, and I'm watching the way Fullerton's playing. Yeah, they beat LBSU, but again, watching that full game, that was more LBSU beating themselves than anything Fullerton did. Because Fullerton didn't play well either. And then again, I can't escape the 2 games prior that Fullerton played to LBSU out of my mind, losing at UC Davis and losing at the cesspool. Again, if you don't know, the cesspool is horrible this season. They are awful. They lost all their players. Isaiah Moses went to EWU. Barrington Hargis went to Colorado. That cesspool team sucks. I got to go with Cal Poly here at home. I'm going to go with the Cal Poly Mustangs to pick up the victory. They just need to push a pace on Fullerton, make that team scramble. I'm going to go with Cal Poly at home, money line, -105 for the Mustangs of San Luis Obispo. On now to our 4th best bet of the video, we move to the Big 12, the only Power 5 game we have today, Kansas versus Kansas, obviously Kansas team versus a Kansas team, as we are in Manhattan, Kansas, for Kansas State hosting the Kansas Jayhawks. I understand there's an element of this game of, well, it's a rivalry game, obviously the 2 Big 12 teams in the state. It may be more competitive than you think it's going to be. I get that point. I understand. I mean, you can make that same case. Well, Utah's playing BYU today. Maybe Utah hangs in there with Brigham Young. Probably not, right? And same thing, I guess, with Cal Stanford, but I don't really think either team's that much better than the other. Stanford's definitely the better team, but whatever. That's besides the point. Kansas should walk in here and dominate K-State. I believe so. I think Kansas should completely dominate this basketball team. The way they are playing right now, and they've figured it out on the road, at least I hope they have, because I watched the Colorado game. I know, again, a lot of questionable stuff going on in that game. The Melvin Council steal when he was standing out of bounds on an inbound was absurd. Should have been a technical foul and should have covered for us for Colorado, but whatever. It's okay. K-State's worse than Colorado. K-State, I think, is probably the worst team in the Big 12 other than Utah. Probably. I mean, yeah, they just beat Utah by 3 points at home in Manhattan. But yeah, this is probably, I think you'd be kind of hard-pressed to find a worse team in the conference. They are awful. And I get you can say, well, okay, K-State's just going to get up for this game. It's Kansas, obviously. They score a lot of points. Sure, but you put Kansas in this type of game. The Jayhawks defense has been really good recently. And Bill Self's back too for this game. Obviously, did not make the trip out to Colorado, was hospitalized for a short time, was fine right after, but did not make the trip to Boulder. He's back. He's going to be coaching this game. But more importantly, obviously, you put Kansas in the spot, and I think they're going to deliver. I mean, guys, the way this team's playing right now makes you actually believe Kansas is going to do something in the tournament. I'm starting to believe again. It was the Iowa State game that really made me start paying attention again. And then they beat up on Baylor. And obviously, we watched the Colorado game. We were cheering for Colorado. I think Colorado kind of got shafted in that one. But whatever. Kansas played well throughout, and Kansas found a way to pull away at the end. Obviously, Colorado tried to hit the backdoor cover, but the Jayhawks held them off. Again, good for Kansas. But they are playing better basketball. They did lose to kickoff Big 12 play at UCF, and they lost at WVU. But, I mean, they fought off their road scares by going to Boulder and winning. They should be able to go to Manhattan and win against a team that's even worse. And yes, rivalry element. Oh, it's K-State versus Kansas. I just don't care. K-State, they play fast. They're going to push a pace the entire game. Sure, I play fast with Kansas right now. I mean, seriously, if K-State makes Kansas run all game long, I think we're fine with the Jayhawks still. I think we are. Guys, Darren Peterson played horribly against Colorado, and they still found a way to win that game, and they still found a way to cover. And I'll give all the credit to Melvin Council. Melvin Council came into the year a 15% three-point shooter. Again, his three-point shot's still iffy at times, but hell, he went 2 for 4 against Colorado, plays 35 minutes, scores 18 points. They don't win that game in the end, or they don't cover, maybe not even win if it's not for the effort and the scoring out of Melvin Council, who again leads their team with 18. He's not supposed to be their 1, 2, or 3 option, Melvin Council. Darren Peterson, Trey White, Flory Badunga. Oh, nope, it's Melvin Council. Again, Peterson's one of the best players in the sport. You can argue he's gonna have a better future. He's gonna have a better future in the NBA than Nabonsta. I would not argue with that. Okay, I think they're 1A and 1B pretty easily in the class. I like Cam Boozer. Cam Boozer's 3, and then everyone else. Caleb Wilson 4, I guess. I don't know. But it's Peterson and Nabonsta. Obviously, that regular season matchup we're going to get with Kansas and BYU. We're going to be talking about it regardless if I have a best bet or not. I probably will have a best bet. I can't wait for that game next weekend. That is like the game of the year in college basketball. That's going to be cinema. Anyways, by the way, BYU on Monday is playing Arizona too. I mean, BYU's got some games coming up. I can't wait. Anyways, Darren Peterson and AJ Nabonsta, they are going to be special talents. But if you force Darren Peterson to play quick, and as long as he doesn't play really poorly like he did against Colorado, yeah, it will be fine. Peterson, again, did hit the bank 3 in the second half. That was a big one, momentum-wise, for Kansas when they needed a bucket. Shot clock expiring. Darren Peterson hits off glass for a three-pointer. Again, the guy just has a knack for scoring, and he's just a phenomenal player and a special player at that as well. And the thing I had always said about Kansas this season was, again, we know how good Darren Peterson is. He legitimately plays like Kobe Bryant at times. Can he get help anywhere else? Trey White, Badunga, and Melvin Council. I mean, who's going to show up? Well, Trey White's averaging 15. Badunga's been really good. I mean, the plays he makes at the end of the game, big box outs, getting blocks. I mean, the rebounds Badunga comes down with. He averages 9 per game, but I mean, the clutch rebounds he pulls down against Colorado and Boulder, oh my goodness. That, I mean, really saves that game for them. And again, I cannot give enough props to the way Melvin Council is playing basketball this season. Melvin Council was a 15 to 18% three-point shooter before the season. He's a 35% three-point shooter this year, and everything changed. Again, I'll keep saying it. Everything changed in that game in Raleigh against North Carolina State. You can say, oh, well, K-State's going to make Colorado run today. Sure, they've been playing competitive games in the Big 12. Look what happens when they play elite teams, though. Oh, they're competitive against Arizona State. They're competitive against UCF, Oklahoma State. UCF is the one exception. No, actually, sorry. UCF beat them by 9, okay? They're competitive against Arizona State, Oklahoma State, and Utah. You could argue those are the 3 worst teams in the conference. I probably wouldn't put OK State down there, but Arizona State and Utah suck. I mean, okay, those games are close. Who cares? When they play good teams, they lose, and they don't play close games. Arizona beat them by double digits, beat them by 30. BYU beat them by double digits. UCF beats them by 9. Seton Hall beats them by double digits. Bowling Green beat K-State by double digits. Indiana beat them in Assembly Hall by double digits. Why wouldn't Kansas do the same thing? I don't care. The game's in Manhattan. Again, PJ Haggerty's really good. Scores 34 points in 39 minutes for K-State. He is everything for this team. Obviously, Memphis product. Started at TCU, Tulsa, Memphis, 4th team in 4 years, whatever. Probably going to end up, I don't know, we'll end up at Michigan next season or something. I don't know. Or Arizona, whatever. He's really good. PJ Haggerty's great. The rest of the team, though, lacks. Really lacks in talent. I gotta go with Kansas on the road covering against K-State. Jayhawks minus 4.5. Peterson, Badunga, White, Melvin Council. Give me the Jayhawks. On to our final best bet of the video. We go to the late night spot, guys. So I want to clarify this right now. Okay, we are playing a different sport though for this game. It's a different sport. This is no longer basketball. This is Hawaii ref ball. Can CSUN be the team to not play like straight up dumbasses once they walk into Honolulu, Hawaii to play the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. On top of that, can they overcome the game that we call ref ball in Hawaii? It is absurd. How has there not been an investigation launched on basketball games in the state of Hawaii? Guys, look at the free throws Hawaii shoots at home compared to the free throws they shoot when they're on the road. It's not close. Guys, and I have straight evidence of this. Look at the difference in games at home that Hawaii plays and games on the road that they play. Okay, so that last game they played against Cal State Bakersfield, right? There's nothing on, so I watch because I usually actually watch every single Hawaii home game because there's nothing else on TV. Why wouldn't I watch? Okay, do I bet against them most of the time? Yes, but I was just watching as an observer against Cal State Bakersfield because there was nothing else on television a couple nights ago. So, guess how many free throws Hawaii shoots? 34! Bakersfield did shoot 39, but a lot of those came just with Dalen Smith, who just kept putting his head down trying to get to the rim. Okay, but Hawaii shoots 34 free throws against Bakersfield, 20-something more in the first half. So you might say, oh, well, Bakersfield shot more. Bakersfield got to the line a million times in the second half when the game was already over, okay? Hawaii gets to the line like it's nobody's business. Earlier this season, they set a record for most free throws shot in one half, Hawaii. It was in the 30s. A game against East Texas A&M where they shot 54 total free throws. How come every single game ever played in Hawaii, they shoot at least 30 free throws? But when they go on the road, the one game we had Hawaii to win, they go to UCSB, and they only draw 13 free throws. How does that happen? I'm serious. When they play in the continental United States, they suck. And they don't get a million free throws. When they are at home, you can't touch a Hawaii player because immediately you're getting free throws if you don't. Cal State Bakersfield, and this is what I mean about, you can say, oh, well, Bakersfield shot more free throws. Guys, half of Bakersfield's team fouled out. Their center, Pierre Geneste, had 3 fouls in the first 3 minutes of that game. Tom Mark, their other starting forward, got a technical foul for no reason and had 3 fouls in the first 5 minutes of the game. Both their bigs were kicked out of the game. I mean, it's unbelievable, Hawaii basketball games. So how can Cal State Northridge put up with it tonight? Well, they have the scoring to keep up with Hawaii. It's different than Bakersfield, who's the worst team in the conference. But Cal State Northridge actually has really good scoring. They've got players who attack the basket. They've got guys who can shoot as well, just Larry Hughes, but they have guys who can score. It's a very experienced team who I think is playing a little, they're not playing as well as they should be. I think they're a very underperforming team this season. Don't forget, CSUN played a somewhat competitive game over in the Farm this year at the Farm against Stanford this season. They beat UCSD on the road a couple games ago. It's a high-scoring team. It's a high-scoring team going to Honolulu. I know teams just forget how to play basketball in Honolulu on top of the fact that you have to play Hawaii in their gym, on their island, with their referees who foul, any little thing possible. It's an experienced team that can score, though. And it's an experienced team that I don't know if all of them have been to Hawaii before. And again, guys just seem to go batshit once they end up on the island. In fact, I don't know if any of their guys have ever been to Hawaii before. It's okay. Larry Hughes, dominant player, averages 18.5 points per game, 40% three-point shooter this season. Senior player. He's been phenomenal this season for CSUN. Coming off of St. Louis last year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, St. Louis for 3 seasons now with CSUN. Josiah Davis, former West Virginia, Texas Tech, Tennessee Tech, and Niagara player now over at CSUN, averaging 14.5. It's a player, again, who can give you double digits on every single night. And then another senior in Joshua Agaro, averaging 14.5. 1 year at SJSU, 2 at Texas State, now settled in with Cal State Northridge. This team can score. That's objective number 1. You need 2 things if you're going to go to Hawaii and win/cover. Again, we don't need them to win. I'm not playing CSUN plus 400 because nobody's going to be able to go into Hawaii and win the season, even though Arizona State did it, but whatever. You can't beat the 5 guys on the court plus the refs. So you can't beat 9 players at once, obviously. But the 2 things you need if you're going to at least remain competitive with the Rainbow Warriors this season is scoring and high scoring, so high scoring, and big play. Okay, because Hawaii's got this guy, he's named Big Fish, Isaac Johnson. He's just tall and that's it. He just gets rebounds and putbacks, and sometimes he'll hit a three. He's a crappy three-point shooter, like everybody on this team as well. But Isaac Johnson, again, he's named Big Fish or nicknamed Big Fish. He has a stupid skull celebration. Oh, whatever. He's just really tall. He doesn't really do anything else. Couldn't cut it in the Mountain West. He couldn't play basketball in the Mountain West because he wasn't very good at Utah State. But anyways, he's at Hawaii now. You just need a guy who can kind of box him out a little bit. Does Cal State Northridge have that? I hope. Okay, here's the thing. They need to play their actual center tonight. Alex Smizak, who has only put up he's put up less than 10 minutes in the last 5 games. I got to think they're going to play him tonight. You need a big body on the court. That's the only way you can beat Hawaii. Smizak, 6'11", I believe, from Frankfurt, Germany. You got to play him. You just need another big guy who can get in the way. And also the way Hawaii plays, you need someone who can eat fouls for you. And the way that the refs obviously treat these games as well. So I'm just telling you, watch this game closely and watch the officiating. It's going to be the most absurd thing you've ever seen. But I think Cal State Northridge really needs to play their center in Smizak quite a bit. They do have another big that they go to who, again, operates kind of as their 5. They kind of play positionless, but it's Davis Lowry. He's 6'7". I don't know. He's not a great rebounder, though. That's going to be Joshua Agaro who's going to get most of their boards. They see someone who can kind of size up on Isaac Johnson, but I think we're going to be okay. On top of that, too, Hawaii's injured. Kind of. Their starting point guard, Aaron Hunkin-Clater, who doesn't post the most amazing stats, but plays the entire game, facilitates the offense, averages 6, 3, and 4, but again, is their starting point guard. He's out still. Got injured in the UCSB game, likely not playing tonight. That is a big miss for this team. Plays phenomenal defense. Again, he's their energizer, just on the court at all times. So with him off, they're playing Isaiah Kerr right now, junior out of Palo Alto, California. Had a career high in his last game, scored 16 points against Bakersfield. Can almost guarantee you he's not going to do that in back-to-back games. So I think we're okay. I think we are all right. I'm going to be going here with Cal State Northridge on the road. I think they can score enough, and I think they can limit Big Fish enough. And again, Hawaii, they're such a crappy team. Their record looks good. They don't shoot. They're a crappy scoring team. They just get rebounds and putbacks. Nobody on this team shoots better than 30% from beyond the arc. No starter does. They're just not that good, but somehow they just get the refs on their side and they play ref ball at home. Give me Northridge on the road to cover 9.5 points in Honolulu against the Rainbow Warriors. Folks, thank y'all for watching our college basketball best bets here on January 24th. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back tomorrow for more daily college basketball best bets. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.